Smallwood.
Hi, how are
Thank
you?
you very much for agreeing to talk with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Of course, I want to talk about the things that you have going on lately. Of course, Promises, released about a year ago.
About a year.
And what are some of the most profound promises that resonate with you? Something that you've seen God do, looking back, and you didn't necessarily feel God working, but in retrospect, you see something that was done.
I just think the first thing that pops out in my mind is the promise that He would never leave nor forsake us. That the feeling and the knowledge that God is with you through every situation that you encounter, good or bad, is the most comforting thing that you can have. I just came through total hip replacement on my right side, and that was frightening. I've never been in the hospital in my life, and but to know that God brought me through that, and within 2 weeks I was walking with no pain or anything, and my doctors and my physical therapists were like, "This is unusual." And I was like, "Well, I serve an unusual God." So the whole thing about Him being there for you, whatever situation you find yourself in, I think is, to me, the most comforting thing, because that sort of encompasses everything.
Very much. I also follow you on Facebook.
Okay.
And I enjoy your inspirational posts. One of the ones, it was talking about your autobiography. I don't remember the exact date, but the autobiography that you have coming out. And it said, as I work on this autobiography, I'm realizing that from the time I was born, I have never fit in. I make no apology for that. For others who have felt that way all of their lives, understand that you are unique, fearfully, and wonderfully made. If we were carbon copies, what a boring world this would be. Don't be afraid of being who you are and who God made you to be. There is purpose in His handiwork. You are an original. I feel that as well. Sometimes I don't fit in with everyone. Just,
Sure.
square peg, round hole.
Oh, yeah.
When did you come to this realization for yourself? Did you know this? Did your mom instill this in you as a child, or was it some epiphany that you had as an adult?
About not fitting in?
Yeah, about not fitting in.
I never felt that I did. I mean, as far back as I can remember in school, I was the musical kid. I didn't have a lot of the same interests as the other kids. I was an only child, so I was always sort of to myself and in my own little fantasy world, whether I was standing in front of the mirror, pretending like I was singing with whatever recording I was playing. I would pretend I was that person. I used to take the angels off my mother's Christmas tree and make a singing group.
Really?
Yeah, and I, put the recordings on, and we'd have concerts all day. When other kids outside playing, I'm gonna have a concert with some Christmas tree angels. I mean, it was. So I never fit in, and it was sort of an uncomfortable feeling, especially when you're a kid, because you want to be a part of everyone else, and so when kids don't necessarily want to play with you, or they don't really understand you, it hurts. It hurts. But I think it took a while for me to understand. You're not odd. You're unique, and you're what God made you and who God made you to be. So I embrace that. Even now, when I feel those times, I still don't fit in, but I embrace who I am. And I thank God. I wouldn't want to be anybody else.
And when did you come to that realization?
It took a while. It took a while. I mean, I definitely was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while for me. Because I think one of the things is that you always want to be accepted by people, and when your music is different. I mean, when I first started writing, I was told that you'll never be successful because you can't write. Your music is different. It doesn't fit in. It's not what's selling. It's not what everybody else sounds like. And that made me feel like, well, why do I have this gift? I mean, what is it for if I'm not gifted in that area? Why am I trying to do this? And I had people in high places tell me that it just wasn't,
just some person off the street.
Yeah. It was like, producers and people who had made it in the industry were telling me, we don't understand this classical mess mixed up with this music and all this all these different genres mixed up together. It makes no sense. It doesn't sound like anything else I hear. Nobody will buy it. The first album I did, the producer told me, we don't want to record any of your music. We want to go into the vault and find some music that you can record. So I mean, to be told things like that, it sort of emphasizes the whole thing of not fitting in. So, but at some point I can't say exactly when or what day it was or what the circumstance was, but at some point I woke up and just said, you know what, I'm cool with me. If you don't like it, get over it. This is me. You know what I'm saying? So that's thank God for having arrived at that place.
Wow, and now, years later, I'm sure you've heard this compliment many, many times before, but whenever I think of your music, I think of Timeless.
Well, thank you.
I think of Timeless.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, I asked God when I first started, trying to pursue this, I said, God, two things I want. I want this to be ministry, and I want music. I want to write music that lasts long after I'm gone. I want to write music like Precious Lord and Amazing Grace and those songs that the music has a life of its own. You don't have to depend on the composer or the artist to sing it. I mean, the music is a statement within itself. And that's the kind of music that I ask God for, in terms of bringing life. I'm grateful for all He's done. And I owe it all to Him. It certainly wasn't me. I'm just the vessel or the conduit that, for some strange reason, He chose to use.
You allow yourself to be a blessing in so many ways. What do you think it's important for people to remember?
I think it's important to remember who God is, and that God, regardless of what happens, is in control of whatever we go through, whatever we deal with. And the only thing in times of that we have is God. If I didn't have God, I would be in a straitjacket, probably in an asylum somewhere. I mean, literally. I mean, God is the only thing that has kept me. And if you don't have the peace that He brings in whatever situation you're going through, then, you have nothing. So I think that the main thing we have to do is, first of all, to know God is the supreme judge, and He is love. That's the thing that people forget. They want to deal with the vengeful lightning bolt God. But the God that I know is a God of love, a God of peace. So I think we have to hold on to that knowledge and hold on to it.
With that, peace unto you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.